Hey guys, welcome to the Great Apostate. Thanks very much for watching. We've only moved into this house, so we've got no pictures in the background. Soon, this whole house will be festooned in pictures. It'll be much nicer to look at, so bear with me until I do. What are the qualifications for being an elder? I never got to that exalted place, partly because I was an asshole, and also because I talk too much. Funny that, I'm sure you'd never know. But I think that, as I recall, they were you had to be you had to be good. You had to be religious. You had to get out in the service a lot. You had to be a husband of only one wife. You had to be well thought of, modest. Couldn't be a drinker. Couldn't be too fat. They were pretty easy on the fat though. All that good stuff, right? And so what I wanted to do was post or talk about this post here in one of the JW forums. And here is someone. Bear in mind, Jehovah's Witness elders are they're held to a very high standard. And that's not to say that the standard is true, but we're supposed to think it's true. Okay? So here somebody has posted and said that, has anyone ever caught an elder doing something in their congregation, doing something shady? Right? Uh, so here's a guy that said that, I went to the movies once and saw one of our elder's daughters making out with a boy from high school. I told her elder dad. He accused me of being a liar and trying to get her into trouble because I was jealous. 6 months later, she ran away from home with the guy when she turned 18 and married him. He was a Mormon and they never saw her again. There you go. Well, that's just him being a dumbass, but okay. We had an elder, possibly even, I think, the PO in our small town hall get busted by the law for stealing musical instruments from the local middle school. What a boring crime spree. What did you steal? I stole 3 clarinets. Whoop whoop. And some kind of whistle, apparently. Good Lord. A substitute CEO, elder, and pioneer admitted to his wife he'd been seeing prostitutes. Okay, but then when the elders asked him about it, he lied. So for her sake, we followed him to all the naughty areas of town. Okay, remember this guy here, right? He feels that he's in a position to disfellowship other people. Okay, and he's seeing hookers. Never seen a hooker in my life. Feels a bit gross to me though. If you did. An elder in my hall gave me grief for watching rated R movies while he was caught banging a seriously mentally ill woman that was disfellowshipped while his wife was on her deathbed in the same house. Now when I see his fat, wrinkly old ass, I point and laugh. See, like that's it. That's it. These are the guys. I mean, I'm not saying everybody, I'm not saying all you elders that I used to be were banging mentally ill women while your wives were dying. I'm not suggesting that. But at the same time, that's not cool. I think we can all agree. And there's somebody who says most of these elders were janitors or window cleaners because when they become elders, they feel they have some prestige in the world. That's true. That's true. I mentioned before, I was one of them. Here we go. A family I grew up with, the elder was molesting his beautiful young daughter. When she became pregnant, he blamed the girl. This guy, for years, gave me the creeps. He would look at you and you would be scared. And all the time he put on a holy show. Oh yes, the rest of the story went like this. His wife became mentally ill and ended up dying in an insane hospital. His daughter adopted the baby, and the baby then grew up. She contacted her family, and they wanted nothing to do with her because she was the product of incest. So it's like, how many generations of my family can I fuck up in one go? Oh, all of them! Well done, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Never caught anybody in the act, but the married father of the sister that I studied with was arrested for indecent exposure. His arrest record and photo were online, and the location where he was arrested was a known area to pick up prostitutes. Woohoo! I learned this years after his arrest, but he was a ministerial servant the whole time I knew him, which means his family swept it under the rug. Oh my goodness. Before I was born, or while I was very little, my uncle, who has cerebral palsy, was working with another brother, and they were making things. I don't really remember what it was. When it came time to pay, the other brother ran off with the money. So for all the effort, time and money he'd invested, my uncle got nothing. He went to the elders and was ignored. He decided the smallish area in which this happened could keep it. He moved to another state. No one ever mentioned him again, and I grew up thinking that my uncle was a horrible, evil man. He was never disfellowshipped, but he was called an apostate. The 2 times I met him as a child, I was anxious and uncertain because he was treated as a pariah who would snatch me away. But actually, he was just a guy who'd been robbed by another brother, and the Kingdom Hall didn't care. You know, this, I don't want to get into this subject too deeply here because I'm trying to be humorous a little bit. But when the Jehovah's Witnesses talk about the child abuse thing and say, oh, no, it's an isolated incident and we go to the police all the time, let's remember that this is the attitude of Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? And that I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say that the child abuse issue, this is, even in the cases in Australia where it's 1,006 paedophiles never reported to the police, this is the tip of the iceberg, because the attitude of the Jehovah's Witnesses is, don't take your brother to the police. Don't go to the courts. Don't bring Jehovah's name into reproach. You know, I'm 20 years out and that's still on the tip of my tongue. You don't do that. Okay? My dad was threatened with disfellowship for threatening to take an elder to court. They said, yeah, you can do it. Or threatening to take a ministerial servant to court. They said, you can do it, but we'll disfellowship you. You know? Do you think it's different over child abuse? Is it hell? Okay. All my life I saw shady shit. It's a cult. What do you expect? It's true. Back home when I was a kid, I heard these two elders got into a fist fight in the Kingdom Hall. One was the presiding overseer, and he was an elder as long as I remember. I personally was stalked by an elder for over 13 years, and also had another elder that would send me extremely provocative text messages asking me to have sex with him while surrounded with roses on a bed. Of course he was married, but his wife was out of town a lot due to her career. But he would also ask me to go out of town with him and say that he would get a room at the hotel, but we'd only lay in bed holding hands. That doesn't work. Not until you're married anyway. It works fine. What a piece of shit. Okay. I had a sister in my congregation make a pass at me. That's a woman making a pass at a woman. This particular sister was so self-righteous, both her and her husband hated gays and weren't shy about talking about their disgust for them. Never stopped banging on about Armageddon, bad associations, etc. They were full-time pioneers, yet late one night, when I gave her a lift home, she starts crying me, telling me she's in love with me and makes a pass at me. I've never been so shocked in my life. I was literally speechless. It's easy to be speechless, though, with a tongue in your mouth. Oh, dear. I remember, I've said this before, but I remember, I'm not even going to say his name, because I think he's probably the CEO of a congregation in Fermoy, down in South. And when I was about 18, he tried to kiss me. It's true. My fine features, which is too much for him. I turned and he just gently brushed my cheek. It's not true. He did try to kiss me, though. Okay. I did capture... Okay, sorry. Let's move on to the next one. An elder in my former sign language congregation who believed he sat at the right hand of God runs his own construction business. He asked people to note on the check that it is a voluntary contribution. He is still doing this today. Looks like he learnt from mother. Of course, I am the evil seed of Satan. So he's putting that down as a voluntary contribution so they can never get their money back in case they don't like his work. I should do that with my work. I never get complaints because I'm so good. I used to rent from an elder and his wife before I left. One time when I was in my parked car in the driveway, I saw him walk up to my window and peek inside. Ooh. Last one. I think it's last one. We're doing too much videos today. It's getting busted for picking up a guy in a public restroom. It's shady for a married presiding overseer. Yeah, it is. But the cops caught him in a sting. I didn't catch him myself, but I found out about a decade later. It was kept very quiet and he was not deleted, just demoted to a regular elder. Crazy stuff happens. That's true. Like the crazy elder's wife in my congregation in Lisburn, who spent a good number of years having an affair on her husband. Not even reproved. Good work. What was her name? I forget. Oh, Alison. Good work, Alison. Anyway, I've had enough. I'm going to move on. Have a lovely day. Take care.